Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Krista, and you're listening to the Gritty Glitter Badger podcast, the show where sport, fitness, and life intermix and mingle. My experiences are transactional, transformational, and optimistically transmutational, because after all, life is like one big, epic workout. All right, Badgers, I am just going to get straight into it today. So I would like you to just pull up a chair or, whatever you're listening to this in the car, on your walk, whatever it is. And you know what? We're going campfire tonight. This isn't going to be some perfectly curated, studied, researched kind of podcast, where everything's perfect and we all show up in matching flannels and we're drinking these fantastically beautiful artisanal hot chocolates right out of these, cute little mugs that look like they've been forged by freaking forest elves. Like that's not what's happening today. Today is it's me, and it's going to be a lot of potentially me fumbling around because what I was going to do, it didn't really vibe with me. I will hit it another time. And so I just wrote down some really rammy jammy kind of thoughts today, things that have kind of been on my mind lately. And actually, so much so that coming up in the next several weeks, I am going to be having a repeat guest on the podcast to talk about just this. But it's, this is, I guess, maybe inspired or, another word, prompted by her post that I had seen because, and again, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and then seeing her post really made me think about it as well. And honestly, it's just been sitting in my chest. Like I've been thinking about it, it's been weighing on me. And, so with that, you're like, everywhere we look now on social media, all the platforms, I feel like somebody is telling us that what we're doing is wrong. We're not lifting or training right. We're not eating right. We aren't hydrating right, or we're not doing it well enough. We're not sleeping right. We're not walking right. We aren't breathing right. We're not journaling the way that you're supposed to do it, or healing right, or regulating our nervous system, or aging, or stretching, or resting, or we're not disciplined enough, or but yet we're hard all the time, and we're not soft enough. We're not hitting, delving into that softer part of ourself, or we're not intense enough, or we're not feminine enough, or productive enough, grounded, spiritual, tough. I mean, all the things, like whatever fucking shit it is, the algorithm is deciding on, is just tossing all of this shit straight up in our fucking faces, like telling us that it makes you feel like that no matter what we fucking do, it's not right and it's not good enough. And at some point, you have to stop, or you don't have to do anything. At some point, it's nice to stop and just ask, like, for fuck's sake, am I allowed to exist without fucking being audited for everything that I do? And it feels like every scroll is turning into a performance. It's a performance review of your entire damn life. Like okay, here you go. Here's your 60-day review, and you fucked up. You fucking couldn't do anything right. Oh, well, you had a glimmer. That's not good enough. You didn't hydrate well enough. You didn't add your salts to your water. You didn't do like whatever it is. And it's like we open our phones because, maybe it's like we have 7 minutes before we leave the house. And then suddenly we see something. Perhaps it's somebody who's in like it's perfect lighting, and they've got a water bottle that is the size of a tiny toddler, telling you that your morning routine is trash, that your protein intake is, is acceptable, if even like it's and like, oh well, and you know what, you did this, so your cortisol's ruining your life, and your workout split, well, that's trash because you got to do my workout split, and my workout split is this. And well, let's not even talk about your sleep hygiene. And if you aren't walking barefoot in the sun while whispering affirmations into a jar of magnesium water, you know what, you're basically one fucking bad decision away from turning into a fucking couch cushion. That's what I feel like. And listen, if you have been a long time listener, if you follow me on social media, if you get part of my new, you get my news, whatever it is, okay, me. I am in the fitness and mindset mental landscape space. Okay. I'm a fitness expert. I'm a coach. I have a podcast. I post, I teach, I talk about training, nutrition, discipline, mindset, mental fitness, nervous system awareness, consistency, recovery, strength, resilience, right? I talk about taking ownership of your life, right? Own your shit. So with that and seeing all of these things, it made me take pause, and it got me to thinking, it's like, am I doing this? Am I actually part of the problem that I'm like noticing online? Am I adding to this perpetual haranguing noise? Am I making people feel like they are always behind, like they're not doing enough, like you're failing, like you're missing some invisible memo out there? And I really sat with that. And the reason is because this really matters to me. And I don't want to be just another voice that makes you feel like you can't do anything right. And I don't want to be the person standing on the internet with this, verbal clipboard pointing out all the ways that your life isn't freaking optimized enough, right? And I don't want to also be part of creating content that sounds helpful on the surface, but then it's leaving you feeling smaller or more frustrated or frantic or ashamed or convinced that you're broken. And it's like that's not why I do this. And it's not why I've spent decades in fitness, and it's not why I coach and why I love coaching and why I did the fitness app, and it's not why I care so much about like what is in between our ears, our mental landscape, right? And it's also not why I show up and talk about all the hard things and like, the funny things and the messy shit, human things, right? And I do this because I truly 100% want to just be of service and help you, help people, right? And I do this because I I firmly believe, like deep in my gut, in my now, right, that we are all capable of so much more than we realize. And it's like, when we can do this, when I see, what happens, when I see these transformations, like somebody starting to trust themselves again, no amount of anything can take away how freaking epic that feels. Like how, like my heart literally feels like it wants to like blow up out of my chest in happiness, right? And it's, I've seen what happens when someone, somebody who thought that they were too old or too far gone, or I'm too busy, or what, I'm just constant, I am that inconsistent person, right? And, or being overwhelmed and seeing these people one tiny step at a time take back and own their power. And look, that's the real magic. And it's not that like social media performative magic. It's the real kind. It's the ones that we get through the boring stuff, through showing up, through being consistent because we matter, right? And I want to be very clear. There is a difference between, for me, and again, this is an opinionated rant, but I feel like there is a massive difference between helping someone improve and making someone feel like they're wrong for being a human. There's a difference between truly wanting to educate and help people and just wanting to shame them into your stuff or shame them into something. And there's also a difference between saying, hey, here's a better way, that might support you, and saying you're doing it all wrong and that's why your life sucks. And I feel like first of all, we've lost the plot like a lot. And I feel like social media is a whole lot of you're doing it wrong and that's why your life sucks shit, as opposed to I see what you're doing. I see you. What about this? Maybe this might help, or let's try this, or what are your thoughts? How can I support you? Like changing our approach, changing the conversation. I feel like a narrative catches on and it's like a fucking dumpster fire, and everybody just keeps adding shit to the dumpster fire, and it's just it drives me crazy because so much of modern wellness, fitness, the mental fitness, the mindset, and self-development content has become this endless correction machine. It's like we're all being chased by a swarm of digital hall monitors, and they're standing there with their little tablet taking notes with their stylus and giving us like, virtual tickets, like, well, okay, well, you did this, so here's your virtual penalty or whatever. Don't do that. Or you're eating the wrong fruit, or well, you're drinking your coffee at the wrong time. You're drinking, and you know what, your coffee's just wrong. Or well, you're standing wrong now. You're setting your goals wrong. You're breathing wrong. You recover wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. You're existing wrong. That's what it feels like. And for people who are already trying, and I mean, they are literally trying their best in their day, they are showing up the best they can with what they have in that moment. It's fucking exhausting. And I'm speaking, it gets exhausting for me because most people, majority of us aren't sitting around doing nothing because we don't care. Most people are tired. Most people are overwhelmed. Most people are navigating jobs, bills, family, relationships. Maybe it's aging parents. Maybe it's changing bodies. There could be hormonal chaos, grief, weird sleep patterns, stress, responsibilities, old wounds, trauma, new pressures, daily circus of just being a human who's spinning on a fantastic blue planet, right? Where, we have these phones and they can show us anything from war to a recipe to you got dogs in pajamas, which listen, the dog stuff I'm down for. Or, maybe it's a woman who has abs so tight that look like a tortoiseshell telling you that your breakfast is inflammatory with, all within 30 seconds. And this is the stuff that we're intaking. Well, of course people feel tired. Of course we feel fucking confused and overwhelmed. Of course people feel, like we just can't keep up. So what's the point? And then we wonder why we feel like we just need to shut down and we don't want to do it. Yes, sometimes people are lazy, but sometimes people are not lazy, okay? Sometimes we're just so overstimulated by so many rules from too many people who don't even freaking know what our life is like on the daily. Yes, I said that. We have all of these, I like to call them, the mayors, right? If you ever have somebody in your neighborhood and they like know everybody's fucking business, you call them it's a term. It's like the neighborhood mayor. Dude, we got freaking social media mayors who don't even fucking know you. And they are policing you at what they think your life is. Go to sleep, okay? Because what you think you see, no. All right? First of all, I didn't ask for your opinion. And second of all, I'm not asking for your opinion. Not every piece of advice applies to every person in every season or every fucking day. What I needed yesterday, I don't need that today or for anybody. And, somebody might be in a season where a 10-minute walk is the biggest win for them in that moment, okay? And somebody else might be training for competition. Like there are days where I'm like, dude, I feel so good. Like, you know what? I'm going to do 2 workouts a day for, whatever. Okay? Then there's like I'll have a day where I'm like I can barely get through one workout. Does that mean that I'm wrong? Somebody might be trying to get their protein up. Somebody else might need to stop obsessing over food. Someone else might need structure, but then you have somebody else who just needs more compassion. They need you to see them as a human being. Somebody might need intensity. And then someone else might be like, you know what? Man, I just need some active recovery or I need real recovery. Like I actually need a day where I am just chilling. Like my body feels like it's about to shut down. And then we have people who like maybe there is somebody that needs that push, but then you have somebody else over here who out they might need to use it to stop using pushing as a way to avoid feeling or to avoid doing things, right? And that's why this blanket advice, this is where for me, I feel like it gets very dangerous. Not always dangerous like in this dramatic sound the alarm way, but in this very sneaky, deleterious, sinister, quiet way, right? Like it's just passively, aggressively needling right there under the surface. And it's the kind where because we're seeing it all the time, we're online watching it, seeing it, whatever it is. This is where someone starts to believe that they can't trust themselves. Well, if this fitness influencer online said it, well, then it must be true. It's that kind where every choice becomes a test. And we are like literally, it's like having the angel and the devil on your shoulder. And there's this conversation between the two, betwixt them, like where we're just like back and forth and back and forth, constantly. We could be outsourcing our own judgment to whoever has like the best reel or the best graphic or, the biggest following or the loudest confidence. Which, by the way, just because the number of followers that somebody has does not denote true experience or truly being somebody who is top in that, area or category or whatever it is. All right. That's just like having a bunch of letters behind your name really doesn't mean anything, but it's your loyalty that you get, like true loyalty from people. That's what matters. And, I don't want all of those things for you, all of the things that I talked about. I don't want you to feel like you have to live your life like it's a multiple choice quiz and the internet is your answer key. Following these, multitude of people that are on social media, like that, it's like scrolling like a jackpot scroll and whoever you stop on, okay, well, that's who I'm gonna follow today. No. Do I believe in coaching? Yes, 100%. Because I am a coach. I believe in guidance and I believe in learning and I believe in expertise and structure and strategy and execution in taking action. And I believe there are better ways to train, eat, recover, think, and build a life that actually supports you. Okay. I also believe some advice is, and this is, again, there is advice out there that is 100% genuinely useful and coming from the right space. Some habits absolutely need to be cleaned up. I am not denying that. I'm not taking, it's not like the baby with the bathwater thing. It's not like throwing the whole toolbox into the freaking dumpster fire, okay? Because we have to talk about the delivery, right? That's what really matters because it's how we say things. And, I've said this before on a podcast. It's what I call the steak dinner on the garbage can lid presentation. And if you're new here and you haven't heard this one, so I think about this, okay? So you go to somebody's house and first of all, they invite you over and they're like, what's your favorite dinner? And you say, I absolutely love filet mignon when it's cooked on the grill with just say this specific, seasoning or sauce or whatever. And they're like, okay, well, I'm going to have you over and that's what I'm going to make for you. So you get to your friend's house and the table's set up so nice, and I mean it's just great. It's like, you're looking forward to it. It's like, this is great. I'm looking forward to the catching up with them. And like, you're thinking about the filet mignon, right? You're thinking about how it's cooked to perfection and the seasoning is on it, and it just how it melts in your mouth. Like, it's like velvet. It's tender and your mouth is watering, right? So your friend says, "Hey, I'm going to go get the steaks and I'm going to bring them to you." So your friend goes out, grabs a garbage can lid, flips it over to the underside, takes their prongs, their tongs, gets the steaks off of the grill, right? Puts them on the underside of the garbage can lid. They come in the house, and they set it down on the table, and they're like, "Here's your filet mignon." And you look up at them and you're like, "Wait, what?" It's the presentation. It's how you present things. So that's why I always call it's the steak on the underside of the garbage can lid, right? If every message sounds like you're screwing this up, eventually people stop hearing the help, and they only feel the hit. They feel the hurt. They are reminded of, because believe me, I can tell you right now, they are already having conversations in their head about how they're a fucking screw up. Trust me, because I have those conversations too. So you compound this stuff on top of it, and it only adds to them feeling shitty already because they feel like they're already messing up. And I don't want to hit people with help. Okay. That's not the same thing, right? That's not coaching. And that's an ego, again, who has the digital hall monitor, and they fucking added a whistle this time. And real coaching should make you feel more capable, not more defective. And, real coaching, working with somebody in whatever facet that is, should give you tools, not just another reason to hate yourself, because we already do a good job of that on our own, right? Coaching should challenge you. Yes, I'm not saying like we go soft and we mollycoddle people, because that's not true. But it also needs to remind us that we are not a disaster project. There's actually a book. Oh God, I cannot remember the title right now. Is it We Don't Need to Be Fixed? You're Not Broken? I can't remember. It's a book, and it talks about that, right? And we are this living, breathing person with history. We have patterns. We've got, we all have trauma in some shape or form, whether it's small or big, right? We have fear, we have desire, we fatigue, we have humor. We are full of contradictions, and we have a nervous system that has probably been doing its best with whatever it had available. And sometimes yes, our best needs to level up. I talk about that a lot. But your best does not need to be mocked into submission. And that's the part I care about. I can tell you the truth without making you feel like you're fucking trash, okay? And maybe it's like me saying, "Hey, you know what? You probably do need to take more ownership here. Like, you do need to own your shit." But it's not making you feel like you're morally inferior because your water bottle is not surgically attached to your hand, right? Or maybe it's me saying strength training does matter. I'm a huge advocate for that, right? Without making you feel like you failed if you've missed a week. Or, it could be where it's like, your habits definitely do create your outcomes, without pretending that I know every single battle that you are fighting behind the scenes. And then, you know what? When we get to that point, then it's asking questions, really understanding where you are in that moment, right? That's the line. And I want to stay on the right side of that line, because, when I post, when I podcast, when I write, when I create, programs, and when I talk about our mental fitness mindset, that mental landscape, my goal is not to be the person that's like wagging the finger in your face, like, "Oh my God, shame on you. What are you doing? Like, you failed, and well, you did that wrong." No, my goal is to sit beside you, right? And say, "Okay, let's take a look at this honestly. Like, what is working? What's not? What do you want? What do you feel like you're avoiding? Honestly, right? Where are you stronger than you think? And where are you bullshitting around stuff? Where are you bullshitting yourself? And then what's the next honest step that you can take, and how can I support you? Okay. That's a conversation that I have, that I want to have. And, not the you're wrong and then telling you everything that didn't go right and why. Okay. It's more like you're not stuck because you're broken. You might just need a different strategy. Maybe it's a little more truth, or maybe, maybe it's just like me going feral badger on you in the most loving way possible, while still, being there for you. Because yes, sometimes we need the badger, all right? The feral badger. We just need the badger in general. And, sometimes we are absolutely making excuses. I've done that. And sometimes we're just, maybe it is we're scrolling instead of moving, or we're saying that we want to change while protecting every habit that has kept us the same because it's comfortable, because of the familiarity, right? Because our lizard brain, it's safe to them. And sometimes, we are waiting for, to feel ready when the truth is, and ready is not coming with, you're not going to get a parade that's going to come down the street and come up to your door and give you a swag bag of whatever, workout clothes, journal, fruit baskets, and whatever it is, okay? Sometimes we are making things more complicated than they need to be because complexity gives us a place to hide. And Cesar Millan always said it. Life is simple. We as humans complicate it. And I think about that all the time. And that is totally real, totally legit. But even then, I don't think shame is the answer. And while I do believe, some of the people that are posting these things, they don't think that they're shaming, but a lot of people may take it that way because they're already, have a number of things in their life that they feel like aren't going right. And shame might get someone, it may move somebody in that moment for like a small period of time, but it rarely builds self-trust. And it's rarely going to, the chances of it building a sustainable relationship with effort are very slim. And it's not going to create the deep rooted kind of change where someone starts becoming the person they said they wanted to be. Shame is just really a shitty long-term coach, and it's not the answer. And, it may get loud inside your head, but that's not, it does not know how to build, right? And I'm interested in the building, the curating, the fostering, the encouraging, right? The helping, the supporting, being of service. I want to help people build strength that carries into life. And I am talking about all over strength, not just physical strength, like life strength. And I want to help women. It's like people ask me when I train, I always tell them like, I train hard because I want to be hard to bring down. Every day I work out is another day I can kick somebody's ass. I'm not gonna lie. That thought runs inside my mind, right? But teaching and helping women become harder to knock down, not harder on themselves, right? I want people to feel powerful in their bodies, in their mind, steady, the mental real estate, that mental fitness, and totally capable in our life on the daily. And it's understanding that fitness is not just about chasing a smaller body. It's not fuck that tiny body, skinny, whatever that is, or trying to punish ourselves into worthiness, right? It's about capacity, and it's about confidence, and it's about being able to carry your groceries, your grief, your goals. It's, be your dogs, your dreams, all the luggage, whatever it is, your standards, without collapsing every time life gets, hard or difficult or spicy, or tough or challenging or chaotic. And believe me, life all those things happen. And, that's part of why I train. That's why I like to, create those type of habits that are going to support that and work on the mental fitness. Not because, we are wrong as we are, but we are responsible for what we become. And that distinction matters. You are not wrong for being, where you are. I'm not wrong for being where I am right now. It's a product of what I have done, but I am responsible for what happens now and where I go next. That is not shame. I want to make that clear. That is power. And I think this is where so much content that is meant to be good misses the mark. It takes responsibility and it passive aggressively wraps it in an accusation, whether they know it or not, and it's like taking something that is educational and disguising it as superiority, or, somebody who's someone's vulnerable desire to improve, and perhaps it turns it into another way to feel not enough on top of already feeling shitty. And honestly, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of people being made to feel like they need a 14-step morning routine before they're allowed to have a decent day. Okay, well, not everybody, that doesn't work for everybody, okay? Believe me, I tried it. I read the 5 a.m. Club and I beat myself up because I couldn't do it. It just didn't, it didn't work for me. And I tried. That's not, does that mean I was wrong? No, it meant that specific setup didn't work for me. I'm up and I do stuff. It's just not in that exact strategy. It's like, I'm tired of women, men, all of us being told that our bodies are wrong every time, we hit a certain, stage, or it changed. Maybe it got a little soft, or it strengthens, expands, like, oh, you're too muscular, or, it contracts, it fluctuates. Oh my God. How dare to exist outside the current trend? How heaven forbid that, you're an exceedingly muscular woman in the skinny, trend. And well, of course you have to be taking something. You can't get that way without not taking something. Well, no, because it wouldn't have anything to do with over 35 years of showing up every frickin' day and lifting and training and wouldn't have anything to do with that, would it? No. I'm tired of people being sold this idea that if they are not optimizing every corner of their life, optimize this, take that, you got to do this. What if you don't? Well, your life's gonna fall apart, and you're failing, and things are just gonna start falling off your body. Can we please, for the love of God, can we please just let people be human and still grow? Is that something that is so difficult? I mean, can we let somebody drink coffee, for fuck's sake, in the morning on an empty stomach without getting, this 85-minute lecture with footnotes about what you just did to yourself and your cortisol, and how, well, now this is this is wrong. And I mean, can we miss a workout without feeling like, all our muscles are just gonna like fade away because we missed a workout, or eat the birthday cake, or, fucking sit and cry in the car, or forget to take a supplement, or lose our temper, or start again, try again, learn, laugh, I don't know, fucking swear, lift, walk, rest, keep becoming? Can we? I mean, are we allowed without having the deluge of all the shit? Because that's life. Excuse me. That is what really happens. And, without being told that, we're wrong for, doing this not correctly. Okay, I had to take a pause there. I was getting all jacked up, and I had to pause this, and I had a coughing spell. Dude, it got me jacked up. But, the other thing is, like, for me, I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in turning my life into only, having just like one giant compliance of all the things that I need to do, have to do, whatever. Okay. I want that in addition to, you know, being able to be interested in aliveness, being able to be interested in strength, in ownership, right? Owning my shit, in truth, in, interested in the kind of growth that does not require you to hate the version of you that needed time to learn, right? So maybe this is my way of having my own little public check-in. Maybe this is me sitting, again, I said this is like a campfire moment tonight. This is us, me sitting in the campfire with you saying, hey, if I have ever made you feel like you are doing everything wrong, that was never my intention. And I truly 100%, I apologize for that. And I literally am saying that to you now, like genuinely. If any of my posts, my podcasts, news, whatever, my content has made you feel not good enough, that is never my intention. It was never my intention. And if it came across that way, I am truly sorry. My intention is to help you see what's possible, like what you can do. Our human body, all of it is so magnificent and it's so brilliant. And the strength and the capacity and all the things we can do, it's just off the hook. And, my intention is to give you tools to be able to tap into that and to say the thing plainly when it needs to be said. And also, I want to challenge the story, that says that, you're too old or this stage of life or it's too late, too tired, too messy, too inconsistent, or too far gone. That is not true. You can build strength at any age. You can rebuild trust with yourself at any moment, and you can become more disciplined, without becoming rigid because, you know, you can care about your body without making your body the enemy, right? Because it's a contradiction. You won't be able to do. It's like chasing two rabbits. And another thing is that you can take your goals seriously without taking every damn thing so seriously that your soul is like, dude, I'm out on this shit. I gotta take a nap. I can't. That's the sweet spot. And the other thing is realizing that, yes, it's possible. You can be driven and you can still laugh, and you can be disciplined and still eat the cake. And you can be strong while still being, soft and tender and caring and compassionate, reflective, still feral. Totally important, those two. You can be serious and, about your health and all the things. And you can still be the person who, like, sends really freaking funny, unhinged memes at inappropriate hours. Because, come on, let's be true. Some of those memes are freaking hilarious. It's about equilibrium. It's like equilibrium with a little bite. And I don't want to be another voice that's telling you that you are doing life wrong. I want to be here, and I want to be a voice that's reminding you that you have options, that you have agency, right? That's part of your job, that you have strength, the ability to learn, and you have the right to ask better questions. And you also have the power to stop outsourcing your worth to strangers with ring lights. Okay. No. And, that capacity to grow, you can do that and not declare war on yourself. And, if my work does anything, I hope that it makes you feel more capable and more awake and honest and steady and more willing to try, right? Even if you fail, just keep trying, because when you fail and you try again, it just means that you are not giving up on yourself. And maybe it's a little more willing to laugh at the absurdity of it all, because quite honestly, a lot of it, I mean, you have to smack your head and laugh, because we're all out here trying to build a life that's on a spinning rock in the middle of a vast solar system, in the middle of an infinite universe, okay? While the internet is yelling at you about coffee on an empty stomach, and protein timing, right? So take a deep breath and then just come back to yourself. Take what helps, leave what harms, and seriously, for the freaking love of all things gritty, stop letting every loud opinion become a life sentence. You are allowed to grow without being shamed. You are allowed to learn without being lectured into oblivion. Like the Peanuts parents, when you hear that's like, wah, 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 because that's what it ends up sounding like. And you are allowed to want more without believing that you are less, right? And you're also allowed to decide that, the next step does not have to be perfect, just powerful. Okay, Badgers, that's my ranting fireside chat, sitting down with you, friend to friend, having a little conversation. No giant overhaul. This isn't a panic plan. No, like 77 ways that you're like ruining your life before lunch. Just this. And, just like when we can just look at our life honestly and choose one thing that supports you, right? Let me know how I can support you. Do it with intention, and please keep your sense of humor nearby at all times, and question the voices that you feel just profit from your insecurity, and listen to the ones that they really help you stand taller. Like right? You get a vibe, you get a feeling, which ones like just hit you. And remember that your life is not it's not a content trend, and your body is not a public comment section, and your growth, it's not a punishment. You are not here to be perfectly optimized. You are here to be fully alive. Now I want you to go do the next right thing for you. Like, I don't know, drink water like a civilized little feral badger, and just keep becoming. And, also thank you so much for tuning in and sitting around with me today. And if this episode hit home for you, or, someone who needs to hear it, please share this and let them, know about this podcast. Sometimes the right words at the right time can actually help somebody exhale, feel seen, and remember that they are not doing life wrong just because the internet found some new little rule that we're supposed to live by, right? And also, for all things Badger, head over to grittyglitterbadger.com. That will be in the show notes. And if you have comments, feedback, questions, topics that you want me to cover, or you just want to say hey, because I love to say hey, and I do respond, you can email me at grittyglitterbadger@gmail.com. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, you can scroll right down and leave me a comment there too. And I genuinely love hearing from you. It actually makes me ridiculously happy to know, like, it really makes my heart full to know, what helps, what lands, what didn't, what you want more of, and how I can keep serving you better. So until next time, keep it real, keep it moving, keep it gritty. And remember, you are not broken. You are just becoming. This brings us to the denouement of this week's audio adventure. Thanks for joining me in the Badger Den. As always, thank you for listening to the Gritty Glitter Badger podcast. And be sure and share with a friend that you think may find value in this episode. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to rate on Spotify and head over and check us out on iHeartRadio. There will also be videos of guest interviews on YouTube, and I will have a link in the show notes for that. You can email feedback and reviews to grittyglitterbadger@gmail.com. You can scroll down in the show notes and leave a comment under the section that says, what do you think of this episode? Send me some love, give me some feedback, let me know how you're doing, and as always, grow forth, keep learning, and win the day.